Welcome to another episode of Selling on Giants. Today, I'm thrilled to have Dylan Lam with us. Dylan, known as Digital Dylan, is the founder of AmiRank and an expert in helping e-commerce sellers build and execute product launches that last. In this episode titled Future Proof Your Product Launch, the four-step formula for long-term Amazon success, we'll be unpacking the exact steps that make a product launch not just successful, but sustainable in the long term. Dylan will walk us through his proven four-step formula covering everything from product development to generating external traffic. Whether you're launching a new product or rethinking your approach to product releases, you'll walk away with actionable steps to build a launch that thrives on Amazon. So if you're looking to launch with confidence and see lasting results, this episode is for you. Let's jump in. Welcome back to Selling on Giants. Before we dive into the interview with Dylan, I want to highlight some key takeaways that every e-commerce seller should know to future-proof their product launches. In our conversation with Dylan, Dylan shares his four-step formula designed to create long-lasting success on Amazon and beyond. We cover four essential steps for launching products successfully. First, product development and validation. Second, product audience engagement. Third, audience building and identification. And fourth, crowdfunding for product launch, which was one of three steps. We start with product development and validation, where Dylan emphasizes the importance of creating a unique selling proposition by pinpointing features that set you apart from the competition and setting yourself up for greater market differentiation and appeal. Next, we talked about audience engagement. Dylan explains low-cost validation techniques like using quick social media polls or looking at customer reviews to test your product concept early without a big investment. This lets you confirm market interest before committing to a full launch. Moving on to audience building and identification, Dylan shares how testing ads off of Amazon, particularly on platforms like Facebook and TikTok, help find engaged audience segments. This allows sellers to understand their target market more deeply and adjust their launch strategy and messaging accordingly. Finally, Dylan introduces the concept of crowdfunding as part of a product launch. He describes how platforms like Kickstarter not only raise funds, but also create an initial buzz, helping to finance your launch while building an engaged customer base. These steps offer powerful, actionable insights that can help you structure a launch for long-term growth and market fit. Now that you've had a preview of what's ahead, let's jump into the full interview with Dylan. Hey, Dylan, thanks for being here today. We're super excited to have you on the show and talk about launching products on Amazon, which is a hot topic for anybody in the e-commerce space. I understand you got a four-step formula you're going to share with us today to help us have smoother and more cost-effective launches. So excited to have you here, Dylan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Will. I'm all things about geeking out about e-commerce. Love it when it comes to Amazon or dropshipping.
Awesome, man. I'm excited to dive in. But before we dive into the main topic, I'd love to know kind of how you got into e-commerce and started selling on Amazon and what inspired you to start AmiRank.
Mhm. So back in the days, as a student, I was like selling like nuts and bolts like on eBay,
Hmm.
right? And then like the business just grew. We started like talking to a lot of different manufacturers, and then they have things to sell. That was like back in 2015, right?
Yeah.
They keep giving us like a product. They were like, hey, would you like to try this? Want to try that? Like we tried cables, OTG cable. We tried Bluetooth microphone. Like back in the days, whatever we put on the internet, they sells.
Mm.
Literally, when you put it on eBay, it sells. Back in the days, it's a Wild West,
Yeah.
2014, 2015 time, right? And back in the days, um, I was just a student, like a uni student, and then like we would just snowball down the business, and then we were like, oh my God, there's so much potential in it, right? And I know that if I don't scale faster, then sort of we know that like we will not able to capture the market share, right?
Hmm.
So that's why we started on the rank, but we'll talk about that later. But one of the interesting thing is back in the days, I was sending pallet to my student accommodation. Can you believe that? So I was like holding like two shopping market bag, and then going to the Royal Mail offices, laying down the parcel on the floor, and then like printing the label, sticking on the box one at a time, one at a time. Like
Yeah.
the whole post office know me. It's like, oh, this again, like all two bags of like supermarket bag, to try to post things. So that was the thing. Like, and then like I was like putting parcel. I was living in third floor, not even the first floor, right? And then the accommodation manager just has to come to me saying that, hey, Dylan, you just can't do this anymore. You occupying the lift, you occupying the corridor because I literally lay down all the
Oh.
boxes in the corridor and then like sticking labels so I can like unpack it, stick label and pack the box back to Amazon, right? So
Yeah.
in and out, like there's a lot of like things there, right? So I still remember like when my room when my like same floor that there is like the neighbor like who lives just next to us. They were like, "Oh my God, what are you doing again?" Like, it's just like the same thing again. Hey, I'm just laboring. Be bear with me. I will finish it tonight. So I was calling customer support. Bear with me. Let me finish this game first. I was playing game while calling customer support. Right, I'm killing someone else. I was playing League of Legends back in the days. And like, bear with me. Like, and I was just having the best moment of my life
Oh,
laboring while I was studying, calling customer support while I was playing League of Legends. That
that's
was my
cool.
story. Okay.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
cool. Discovering your
yeah,
passion early, and a lot of
exactly.
people get into e-commerce that way, where you're flipping products and
Yeah,
getting those orders and having to fulfill them. So that is pretty cool. But
yeah,
since then, you've had some experience with some eight-figure Amazon brands. What
yeah.
are some of the lessons you've learned along the way that you see some of these eight-figure brands applying in their terms of how they approach product launches?
Yeah. So back in the days, like everyone needs a PPC manager. Like they're like quite they were like quite intrigued about like how I go from eBay to Amazon, and then I was trying to bootstrap what's going on, and then I started advertising myself in China, seeing someone else if they need it, like from network. They're just like word of mouth saying that like I need help, so everyone just come to me saying that how I can help them. So I was like being introduced from one to second to third different company asking us to provide like service, Amazon advertising service for them, and that's what I was able to see like how they say a manufacturer how they wanted to get into Amazon, and then I was able to be there, help them to translate their business um, from just a trading business into a online branding to help them to
Mhm.
build brand, to help them source different product, to help them bundle things, help them solve the logistic. That's what we were doing, and it was eye-opening because the way that that was back in the days, I was just a six-figure seller. And then like I was helping them with all the things, because they were manufacturer. They have a lot of stocks to sell, and then we were trying to send in containers after containers to the US marketplace. And then that's what I did. Like and I was able to know, okay, we test all the strategy from their account and then implement as well into our account. We study different methodology from back in the days. There's not much courses, right? Then we have to go on to all the events or webinar. And then after that, we come up with our own strategy and formula for how to launch a product, to how to maintain a product, how to scale a business as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, Dale, it sounds like you got a ton of experience in starting out as a seller yourself and then helping some of these larger brands create and launch these products on Amazon and understanding the ecosystem. And now you've kind of built out your own four-step formula, if you will. So, quite a journey. And thanks for sharing that with us. And on that note, let's jump into the main topic: future-proof your product launch, the four-step formula to long-term Amazon success. So, first, and I guess to kick it off, what's the first step you'd recommend in product development phase, and how can sellers ensure they're creating something that stands out on Amazon?
Yeah. Um, so launching a product nowadays is all about uh, having a unique selling point enough to differentiate from the vast majority of the competitors. And that is the try and true method, like that back in 2016. we were white labeling like some product, or just like private labeling, just snapping on the logo, right? Trying to, like, back in the days we call it bundling, or just trying to uh, repurpose one product into our product, right? That's the back in the days things. And then we call it, like, I would call it private label 1.0 back in the days, right? And nowadays, like, when we launch a product, it's gonna be like private label 3.0 already, because in the 2.0 you only change up the color, material, and that's it. But nowadays you really have to think hard about what kind of feature that we want to put into that product in order to have enough unique feature to enough to differentiate, right? For example, uh, 1.0, you're selling just a bottle, water bottle. In private label 2.0, you're selling water bottle with different material, titanium bottle,
Mm.
with maybe a health indicator on the bottle, right? Whereas uh, private label 3.0, you're selling bottles with handles with different sizes and different function. For example, you have like food container, you have like tea infusion pot at the bottom, you have like UVC light at the top, you have this MagSafe at the top as well on the bottle cap, right? It all because of the technological advancement and consumer behavior, consumer consumer behavior changing along the time when the time goes, right? And therefore, there's no such thing as in like there's no more product to sell, it's too competitive. No, it's always there's new product, new kind of feature to come in to develop as in a new product, right?
Yeah.
Um, so back in the days, COVID, UVC sterilizer on the cap. Uh, and then when you stay at home, you develop this like water reminder to remind you to drink water.
Mhm.
Right now, MagSafe, right, just came out a few years ago from Apple ecosystem. You have this like MagSafe attached on top, and
Yeah.
so that is about how you're gonna pick the product to enough to become a potential product, to scale your product to seven figures.
That's pretty interesting, Dylan. Can you share how you identify some of these features in the products you're launching? Is there somewhere you go to get these indications early as you're in product development, or are you just following the sales trends using like software like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout or anything like that?
Yeah, so Helium 10 is always the first go-to point uh,
Mhm.
for for inspiration. Okay,
Mhm.
about that, I talk about inspiration because everyone is looking at Helium 10, and everyone knows what's going on about launching a product. It's all about Helium 10 because they have advertised on what's going on. Nowadays, there's even better software on in China. It's called like I don't know what's the English name, but in Chinese it's called Maija Jingling. So that's the Chinese name. And then they even like have it is comprehensive kind of like things, putting AI, they will analyze reviews, and then they will suggest that themselves about what's going on, right? It's again another tool. But at the end of the day, no matter how sophisticated is one product, it's all about how you do the research, and how you're able to connect with the trend and come up with a new product, right? So we first, of course, nowadays, if you're not using AI, you shouldn't be selling on Amazon because analyzing the reviews and coming up a new product on what's the pain point of this customer is always the first step. Once you analyze the pain point, then you will start discuss with manufacturer, ask them, hey, this is the problem with the customer. Would you be able to come up with a better product, better material, or better feature than this, right? Or
Yeah.
solve this problem for us, right? The first easiest thing to do is not to do it yourself, but ask the manufacturer, can you do this for us, right? If they can't, then you would think, okay, um, let's develop something ourselves, let's open and mold with manufacturer, right? With the data that we have. The data is going to be from Google Trend, from Pickfu that you have done your research, from AI, ChatGPT, from from your market sense when you're walking in the Canton Fair, when you're walking CES, like when you're visiting them, you know, oh, that's what's working. That's AI should be incorporating into this product, right? Maybe right now, the knife is no longer just a ergonomic knife. You know, they are looking for a new term called NASA, right? So just create a new term, not just print the word NASA on the packaging box, that will become your new product, right? That might be the answer, right? So it's all about connecting the dot and getting ourselves a new product that can sell on different marketplace.
That's a great summary, Dylan. So when we talk about product development, kind of what I'm hearing you say is there's a couple ways to go about it. The first and foremost is just trends in the market, and you're identifying them on a holistic scale through like Google and Amazon search trends using Helium 10. You're also getting some information from like using PickFu. So you're looking at some of these features and trends to see like the validity almost. And then you're also looking at customer data. So the reviews left by these customers, and if your manufacturing has the ability to help you pivot and it makes sense cost from a cost perspective, you kind of run it through the ringer. And that is, does that sum up product development pretty much?
Okay. Exactly. That will be the first step that we do when it comes to develop product. Like it's all about low cost research, uh, from how you can package the whole thing for a
Mhm.
VA to do, right? So that doesn't involve a lot of cost. You might be paying pack food, you might be paying like macro workers like about giving you opinion about it. Like the lowest cost that is gonna be like going to Facebook to just start a poll to get the interest, whether or not if this is something that you're interested, right? So it's about the low cost way to find out the data that we need so you can proceed to the next stage, right? It's a
Okay.
first step validate, and the next stage is the second validation.
Got it. Beautiful. So the development, now let's talk about step two. So product validation. So let's just say there's a feature that your manufacturer can develop. What are the steps you take to validate your product as part of this launch process?
Um, so what we preach here is when we have a product, if you want to scale past to seven figures, it has to be able to advertise outside of Amazon, right? Because on Amazon, most of us when we sell on Amazon, um, because Amazon provide quite a big influx of traffics, and therefore your product will sell no matter what. When you turn on PPC, it's just a matter of like 100% equals or 200% equals. No matter how, your product will sell on Amazon, right?
Mm,
So the golden question is, will it sell off Amazon? If it doesn't sell off Amazon, it means that you don't have a brand. You have a Amazon brand. So what is an Amazon brand? What's the difference between a brand and an Amazon brand? A household brand is someone have it in your house, I mean in the house and know about your brand. They can call out your brand. It's called Anchor. They can call your brand. It's called Apple. That's called a household brand. If if someone asks me where did I get this, a table, a phone holder,
mm,
I would say Amazon, right? The brand name is here is called Zundo, right?
mm,
So this is an Amazon brand because I don't care. It's just a brand. It
yeah.
doesn't connect me in an emotional level. It doesn't provide me um, the feeling of a community. It's just a brand that solves my problem. So it's an Amazon brand that sells commodity, right? And so we wanted to use data to validate whether or not if it sells off of Amazon. If it sells off Amazon, it means that we can build a community because it's the community that can help you grow to seven figures and beyond, right? And therefore, the second step, what we do is we go on to run a EC test on on ad, right? We run ad. We just want to see how many audience that is engaging to with our ad. Are they getting likes? The way that we run ad, we don't run a ad that seems like e-commerce. We run ad to just to see whether or not it's interested. If the audience is interested, right? If the audience is interested in the concept, they will start to comment on the Facebook post, right? Of course, the wording that we're gonna refine into this new technology is helping this to solve problem, right? It's gonna be either a video or just one picture, and then we'll gauge, okay, finding the right audience, who is our
Mm.
target audience, right? And that would be our second stage, uh, to find out the right audience, to just invest $100 to see whether or not if it sells.
Beautiful. So yeah, okay. So it's not that expensive. It could be a little as $100 over a week, let's just say. Is that correct? And then what you're saying is if it's, I guess if it's more of a commodity product like your garlic presses, your lemon squeezers, where you're like, I got this from Amazon, I don't care about the brand. Those are going to be harder to build a 7, 8 figure Amazon business around because of the inability to build any brand presence, no emotional attachment. And so part of what you do in the validation phase is you're creating some content, advertising it, and it's seeing who's signaling, who does this resonate with.
Right.
And then if you find that it resonates, you're moving on to step three. And question for you is where are you advertising this? Is it very based on the product? Are you using Instagram and TikTok? Is it all Meta?
Yeah.
YouTube ads? Like where do you get your data for validation?
Mm. If that data is more of like interactive marketing based video or images, right? We'll go on to Facebook, right? If that question that we adjust that can connect emotionally with people, right? Baby bags, right?
Yep.
We put in baby with baby emoji and
Mhm.
stop scroll, right? To attach them to stop and watch the content, right? If that's the case, then go on to uh, Facebook. If not, um, go on to TikTok, right?
Mm.
Google is more of like a high intent purchase. Uh, if you go into Google, what we find out is people is looking for something else, right? People is looking for the exact product, right? Because the exact product is there, so you don't technically you're not finding your new product. People is looking for the exact product, and so we want to go for people that can visualize what's going on, which is the either Facebook or TikTok.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And Facebook, TikTok, and it seems like there's like there's probably some good overlap where TikTok skews younger, but still
Mm,
probably has a large enough audience in their 20s and 30s that engage. And then same thing with Facebook, where it skews a little more older. It definitely has some younger consumers in the 20s, 30s. So that makes a ton of sense. So in that sense, so step one, we got product development, figuring out what product you're going to develop, where to look for. Step two, product validation. There's two types of product validation. One is direct to the market, so you're testing in the development phase using PickFu and whatever else. And then step two, you're testing to see if there's the ability to build branding around
yes.
a product. So step three, I have, and what's unique to your approach is crowdfunding product launch. So I guess
Uh,
explain, I guess, how all these steps work together, where and what crowdfunding a product launch is.
uh, Crowdfunding is like in step four, like in step. So the launch is on step four. It's about what platform you're gonna choose, whether it's like Kickstarter or Shopify or Amazon. But let's talk about the step three first. In step three, to connect with step two, in step two, remember what we do is we're trying to do an engagement test. We're trying to validate people if there's engagement, whether or not we can get people start a conversation, right? So in step three, once we find our seed audience in step two, what we want to do in step three is to find more audience. We call it prospecting, right? So from just one audience in phase one, what we're looking for, in order to validate our product that can be scaled past just Amazon, is that there must be at least three audience that we can look for. And we want to gauge how much does it cost for the CPC and CPA. So the CPA and CPA is technically important to us for future launch because that will determine in the future how many leads that we're going to get and how many sales that we're going to translate into because we can work out like okay now if we are going to be needing 60 US dollar to buy a 100 US dollar 180 US dollar product, then it means that like okay I have to get at least 10 sales when we launch on this platform, uh, and so I'll work out okay now I will set aside maybe 2,000 to start to launch the product, right?
Mm,
And this is one because it would tell us how many leads that we're gonna get because maybe each lead CPC is just three US dollar, and then maybe the to get them take action is $50, right?
mm,
And so we know okay and now we find out there's free audiences that is like resonating to my message, to our angle, and therefore we can scale now. And when we scale, we'll see how much is the cost per audience. If this audience is cheaper, in the future we launch on Amazon, let's focus on this audience first, right? If this angle is like a second cheaper, okay, let's see, do we need the second audience yet? Or should we just focus on the first one? And when we launch in the future, we just focus on second or third one. So when we want to scale outside of Amazon, we know that, okay, our audience should focus on 1, 2, and 3 because those are all our audience. And you can just decide, okay, now with this TikTok credit from TikTok, we may say, let's try out different audiences, right? And so now you work out the CPA, CPC. Oh, sorry, I didn't talk about how do you work out CPA. So to work out CPA, you want to get them to commit to a £1 reservation funnel, $1. So because that one, step 2, and step 3 is all about testing data, right? You want to know whether or not if they really want to buy a product, you set up a funnel, an easy funnel, just about the product. You just tell them, hey, if you really want this product, pay us like a $1. We will secure for you because when we launch, we only have like 100 unit available, right?
Yeah.
And then that's how you're gonna gauge. Okay, people is rebuying. Like how out of this kind of out of like 20 lead, there's one people that is buying. It means like the conversion rate is 0.5%, right? And therefore, that's how you're gonna work out in the future how much budget you need for the launch, either in different platform, right? So that's
Interesting.
step 3, collecting all the data with different audiences from prospecting. Okay.
Beautiful. So to summarize that, because there's a lot to unpack there. So so if we're kind of talking about these steps, step 1, product development and validation, that happens up front. We talked about features, customer reviews, testing using third-party software. Second is product audience engagement. So now you're seeing where your audiences is and where's the best platform for you to potentially operate. And then audience building. So then you're running ads and you're testing messaging to see if it resonates, and you're trying to get them to commit to a purchase when the product's available. And you're doing it as low as $1, but you're getting signals from people so you know roughly what the audience size is, what's your cost per acquisition or cost per customer. And once you have those, you're like, okay, now that I'm launching on Amazon's my lowest cost per acquisition. So we're going to start there and we're going to go until we hit some type of saturation point. And then we're going to move on to the second lowest cost per acquisition marketplace. And we're going to roll it out and grow from there. And that is kind of your formula. Did I just summarize the 4 steps?
Yeah, that's right. The 4th step. Let me tell you about the 4th step as well. Like to just elaborate a bit. In the 4th step, like what we have there is we choose which platform because we have 1, 2, 3 step already. Then we know that this product must be working in either of the platform because we know that if you can sell outside Amazon, it means that you can just scale in Amazon easy. If you can sell outside of Amazon, you can probably sell using Shopify store, or you can using crowdfunding as a marketing strategy, right? So it's funny, like you mentioned like crowdfunding early on. Crowdfunding is actually a marketing tactic we use to get funding. So the way that we launch on Amazon is we have to buy in 3 months worth of inventory, and then we have to go on to send it to Amazon, wait for 3 months, and then maybe 6 months to get all our money back from selling from Amazon, right? If you know it, like most probably you don't use 6 months. The timing is about like 6 to 1 year to get like all the money back because you are trying to you trying to rank the ranking of the keyword. You buy in more stuff 4th month, 5th month, 7th month, right? And therefore, like the funding is quite tight at that time. So what we do is we launch product on Kickstarter, as in not as a crowdfunding, but a marketing. We use Kickstarter as a marketing platform to sell our new product. So the difference is now you pre-sell your product, which is like the reservation that I talked about, right? You pre-sell your product, and then you launch your product on crowdfunding. You haven't bought any stock yet, right?
Yeah.
And then you get 1,000 units that in sales, and then after that you just pay the manufacturer afterward. So the difference in Amazon is you have to pay first and then get back the money later. On
Yeah.
crowdfunding, you get the money first from the customer, and then you start launching the business. So that's another way that we are able to access more fund,
Mm.
bootstrap the business rather than just focus on selling on Amazon immediately.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's based on the size of the business. For somebody who might be paying this out of pocket and this is their first type of launch, the Kickstarter may be a great way because it does provide validation. If somebody's willing to contribute $1, it means they're saying, hey, this messaging brand product story resonates with me as a consumer. Whereas on Amazon, there's definitely ways to get validation, and you shared it here. We're partners with PickFu, so I think they're a great platform to test certain aspects of the market, but nothing is truer than actual market data from like selling on Amazon. But there's risk with that, obviously, and you've mentioned it. You're buying the inventory, you're assuming it's going to sell, and I think all of us who have sold online at some point, you pick a bad product and you end up with a garage or attic full of this one product that'll be living with you for years. So that makes a lot of sense, and that's a journey. So on that note, Dylan, is there anything else you'd like to add to this four-step launch strategy? Anything else to give additional context for any sellers who might be interested in trying this as they're either launching for their first time on marketplaces or they're looking to launch a product, an extension of their current brand online?
Yeah. Um, I mean, if you're able to do the future-proof product launch formula that I'm preaching in the past years, I mean, especially like right now, A10, or we're no longer at A9 already, right? A10 is all about external traffic. So if your product is like just is not like proven outside of Amazon, you won't be able to generate all the buzz like for the signal for you to rank higher, right? So it's all about like for the A9 algorithms, it's all about understand your external traffics. And then even though if you've done 1 to 4 steps already, you are able to get a huge email list. You're able to get all the creatives. You are getting all the video as well, right? Creative images from the launch, image video from the campaign itself, right? And so the benefit of it is actually it's just huge, right? You can just like utilize of those to uh, to to present yourself to um, retailer,
Hmm.
distributor, or small shop owner as well, right? So imagine if you sell on Amazon, you are just setting up the listing, just focusing on the keyword, right? And that's it. Like I always say, people sell on Amazon because they don't own the skill set on properly launching a product, on running a Facebook ad, right? And that's the reason why I started on Amazon back in the days. I started on eBay. I thought I can just upload a thing and that's it. But no,
Hmm.
true brand building comes with a lot of multi-channel comes together and to create the synergy and then to expand outside of just Amazon and
Yeah.
Shopify, right? And that's the idea of it. And if we talk about funding, right? If we talk about funding, right? We talk about funding. Of course, we can talk about personal funding. We can talk about crowdsourced funding from crowdfunding. We can talk about government funding, right? I mean, this is really the first time I'm sharing on a podcast about this, about funding, how to get government funding.
Mm.
Little does everyone knows that if you have a Hong Kong company, you can claim 700,000, hey, 700,000
Hmm.
British pounds, not US dollar, okay, from Hong Kong government, okay. But of course, you can't claim all at once. You have to have a proper
I'm
business
sure.
uh, and then each of the time that you can only claim 100,000 from the government if they approve your proposal. So that's what we have been doing as well. We helped several Chinese uh, businesses to help them. We help Chinese manufacturers have business in Hong Kong, and then we help
Mm.
them create government funding. We help them scale the whole business from scratch and went past 7 figures. Hey, I'm surprised that I never heard talk about the funding part, but then like, but this is the time that if you guys are interested, you can talk to me about it. I haven't have anything to say about the funding, but I'm interested like how do you guys like react to the funding part, so I can talk about that more in the future.
Beautiful. Yeah, so a lot to unpack there. So the funding is definitely a big part of it. Anybody starting their business, it's your people, it's your money, or it's other people's money. What do they say? Friends, families, and fools is generally the first round of fundraising. So I totally understand that. And to unpack some other really good points you made earlier, Amazon is training wheels for e-commerce sellers, and it's a big difference between a seller and a brand. And some of the things you mentioned with AI technology, you could create your own images, your videos on Amazon. So it does lend some feature advantages that a Shopify may not order, where you have to build a lot of that yourself. But true brand building, and I think you summed it up really well. True brand building is the omni-channel experience and the correlation within a category to your actual brand benefit and unique selling proposition that you bring to the market. So that is really interesting. And I like your insights on kind of how you look at launching, how you iterate. And I love experimentation and iteration. And I appreciate your openness to share every step of the process from development, validation, how to do some testing, but also how to uncover some financing if you are in the market for that. So with that being said, I want to jump on to chat a bit about your business, OmniRank, and how you have kind of what you do differently and what's been your role as an agency. So, with that being said, what sets OmniRank apart from other digital marketing agencies in the e-commerce space, and how do you approach product launches differently in terms to your competitors?
Okay. What sets apart us? I would say um, we mainly help like business that is six figures who scale to help them to scale sell past six to seven figures. The thing is like we don't treat Amazon as in a sole business. We treat it as like a platform. I think that's the biggest thing that we preach. You can see there's like agencies that focus on Amazon, that which is like what we do in the past, right? But then we have pivoted from just Amazon into a omnichannel marketing for our
Mm,
business. We offer free courses on how to run PPC because everyone should know how to run PPC. We offer free courses on how to run TikTok shop, how to create a TikTok shop, right? Because again, to us, TikTok, Amazon, they are just a platform. And then the real business is the one who is the one behind building a true business brand using affiliate marketing, using ad to help them to scale past six figures or seven figures, right? And that sets us apart that we know inside about ranking, Amazon, how the Safari looks like, but no, that's not enough. There's more behind, and that's how our business to fill the gap in the market that everyone would just think about, oh, Amazon is Amazon. No, there's so much behind about the brand attribution, the brand referral, the A10
mm.
signal. That's on rank.
Beautiful. Well said, too. And I like that you're in a lot of different marketplaces and you provide education on tactics that you guys are implementing there at your agency. Last question about your business, and I think this is great. So anybody who's considered working, if you're a seller, it's always what's onboarding look like? What's the first 90 days working with your agency looks like? So take me through that journey if I'm a supplement brand selling on Amazon and I'm looking to come to you to work together to help increase sales and build a brand.
Mm. When you come to us, like what we first do is we want to assess your brand, whether or not if your brand can launch outside of Amazon, right? A supplement brand typically is a we use native ad in the past. We have a supplement brand to use native ad. Like we test our Facebook ad, Google ad. We realize native ad is actually the way to go for supplement, and that's what we do. So we help them assess their avatar, the marketing, and then we provide audit, like no matter whether or not you're gonna continue first or we cannot work with you. It's gonna be you're gonna be able to benefit from our audit because you will know what does a building brand looks like, what's lacking for your brand, and you can just use those to help you to continue to develop your whole branding strategy. We use Slack. You can contact me when you're on board. We have like this dedicated like client portal for you to submit all your question. The aim of the first 90 days is to help you settle down to understand what does it mean by building a seven figures brand, and then let us handle the rest afterward on the first 90 days.
Awesome. Very exciting. Well, cool. Well, hey, Dylan, thanks for being here. It's been great getting to know you, picking your brain about launching products on marketplaces and in general. But before we go, before I let you go, we have one tradition here. We talk about the future of e-commerce, and I ask you for you to pull out your crystal ball and tell us a bit about how you think e-commerce and technology is impacting the space. So that being said, how do you see the development of AI and technology shaping the future of product launches on platform? What are some
Mm,
skills or what are some things we should be looking out for as sellers?
mm. Um, I think the skills of a seller, knowing SEO, listing, is no longer like playing quite a big role right now. Like in the past, we talk about you can only like a 500 character, you can like you have to stop keyword to do keyword stuff thing, like all those things, right? I think those are going to be deteriorate, be replaced by AI, right? Uh, I think what is gonna unchanged is the horrible kind of like Amazon AI that would in no accident just delete your listing,
Mm,
or like you have to constantly calling support. That is not gonna change because that is irrelevant to the AI. This is just how ignoring is a platform about. What changed is uh, AI will play a big role in optimizing your operational efficiency.
mm,
For example, uh, how the way how you do a photo shoot in the past, you have to set up light bulbs to shoot by yourself for low cost, right? Now you can just use AI to just use your phone, just as soon as you have good lighting, just shoot it and put it on AI, and then they will just help you to change the background, right? Another one is about UGC. If you are not using a lot of UGC for your brand, it means that you're missing out because churn out UGC is real easy right now. You don't even have to contact a YouTube influencer. You can just go on to use AI avatars, AI voice, come up with a script, and then describe the biggest problem from the why, what, when, how, and about the product, and then you can come up with a GC video, and you can just put it onto Amazon or like use it for advertising on Facebook,
mm.
and then you just churn out different variation until you find the right one. Then you find the authentic like YouTube influencer to go for this formula, and that is how easy you can scale uh, the message and the angle by using AI, right? That's another thing. Um, so we talk about efficiency. So um, efficiency on AI on predicting shipment, we are using that already. As in like, of course, it's all about formula. But then
Mm,
what AI can play a role here when it comes to shipment is all about knowing like the season. You just tell them, you just put in all the data inside on the past year sales, because if you use formula, it doesn't consider the seasonal thing, right? But then if you put in the formula back in day one when you're selling the product, then they will know, oh, during this year when you start launching a product, from November to um, to 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 January, you normally sell the most, right? So
mm.
we use AI to predict how much capital that we need by the end of the year, how much stocks that we need uh, for the month that is coming, and that's what AI is coming up. Uh,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing it right now. We do it manually, but I'm sure that there will be software to come out in the
Hmm.
future to talk about like AI kind of like inventory management because it's pain in the ass sometimes if you don't do that.
Definitely is. Yeah, but I could see that AI is shaking up the game. And to your point, from everything you said, from generating images, where you would need marketing departments, resources, and dollars, AI can pick up a lot of the slack when it comes to nuances. There'll always be a human element, but what that human does is changing. So you heard it here first. Dylan, thank you for sharing your valuable insights and expertise with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Before we wrap up, could you let the listeners know where they could find you and if you have any fun projects or anything you'd like to share with the audience?
Um, if you guys want to learn like how we run ad on on Amazon ad, just go on to omrank.com. You'll be able to find the course. If you want to learn about Facebook ad, like again, we have a course about that. If you want to know about like the funding, contact me on LinkedIn, Digital Dylan. Digital Official. I can't remember. I'll show you that. You put it in the show notes. If you just want to chat, if you just want to geek out about Amazon, hey, just contact me on LinkedIn. I would love to chat about it.
Beautiful. Awesome, Dylan. Just so everybody knows, the links will be in the show notes. So be sure to check out Dylan and follow up with any question. Dylan, thanks for joining us today. Pleasure having you on.
Thank you, Will. We'd love to be here.
That wraps up our conversation with Dylan on future-proofing your product launches. I hope you gained valuable insights into creating a launch strategy that doesn't just work now, but sets your product up for lasting success. Remember, Dylan's four-step formula offers a clear path from validation and crowdfunding to leveraging external traffic. So don't hesitate to apply these techniques to your own products. If you enjoyed this episode of Selling on Giants, please leave us a review, follow, or subscribe wherever you're tuning in. Your support helps us bring you more expert insights that could take your e-commerce business to new heights. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the next episode. Stay classy, people.